Hello guys! I don't know how about you, but I have genuinely missed Ukrainian strikes on Russian oil refineries, and it seems like our HUR intelligence heard my prayers, and tonight Ukrainian drones visited an oil refinery in Saratov. Fires prove that they landed successfully. And I'm really glad that this strategy continues because since 2024, when we started visiting Russian oil refineries with Ukrainian drones, Russia has serious problems with oil refining industry, and we reduced the volumes of this production to up to 20%. And if the newly elected president of the United States keeps his promise and makes oil prices just $50, this will tremendously affect Russian economy, Putin's war plans, and can actually lead to the collapse of the Russian Federation, which is the best outcome as for me. And I remember that one of the main reasons for the collapse of the Soviet Union were actually oil and gas prices that kept dropping. So nobody is against this plan of oil for $50. So let's discuss this new visit and our oil refinery strategy, why it works. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and if you want to see Russia defeated, subscribe, we will discuss that on the channel sometime soon. It can be a military defeat, it can be an economic defeat, it can be a political defeat, but it will be a defeat because Russia is all fake. And you have to finally accept it, that it is a weak and dying empire. No matter how hard Putin pretends, he is a macho, just like you clearly understand he's not. Just look at his Botox. So anyway, let's return to more important things like Ukrainian drones targeting Saratov oil refinery. It is a big one, and it is located close to a river port on Volga, and it was used for the transportation of oil products too. Russian people share lots of videos. They are not media literate, protecting their secrets. They share lots of fires and detonations that even before the satellite images can perform the successful work of Ukrainian drones. Right now, we are able to reach various military objects with our drones within the distance of 1,500 kilometers, which is great. We have developed this strategy to target oil refineries at the beginning of 2024, and in a year, we can say that Russian oil refinery industry reduced its production approximately on 20%, which is actually a lot, taking into account that we are working just with Ukrainian drones. And I believe this distance that they can cover will grow bigger and bigger, even though 1,500 kilometers is already very far away. And we have reached objects in Bashkortostan, in Tatarstan, which is unbelievable if you think about that from the beginning of the technology, like in 2022. This oil refinery strategy was so successful that after we started using it, some of our allies asked Ukraine to stop, not to target them. Protecting Russia or what, I don't understand, because it is often felt as something very unjust when you are fighting for your life and people put additional restrictions, and not on the aggressor, on a person who violently bombs your big cities, your hospitals and schools, but you. And I very much hope that the strategy, like not to let Ukraine die, but also not to let Ukraine defeat Russia, will somehow change. This is at least what we are praying for, and I think even soldiers on the front lines, because this is very important. Subscribe to demonstrate your solidarity with Ukraine, our soldiers, our people. This is very, very important for us in these really difficult times. So the strategy worked, and if the newly elected president of the United States, Donald Trump, will keep his promise and make oil prices fall, making them like $50, this can actually cause very serious consequences to Russia. And I know that Donald Trump is businessman and he cares about money and oil, and it seems like this promise is actually very realistic. We know that recently Saudi Arabia was talking about $40 per barrel, and this could definitely terrify Putin. He had lots of conversations about the need to keep prices higher. But you know, in the world of big business, people always choose money. It's not the kind of philosophy that I like, but in this case, if with the help of low oil prices, we can actually destroy Russian economy, I don't mind. Moreover, this is actually one of the most effective instruments of destroying such weak, totally dependent on raw resources, dig and sell economies. Have a look at the 80s in the USSR. All this lack of everything was the result of oil prices constantly dropping, and like Soviet Union did not produce anything competitive back in the 80s, at the beginning of the 90s, and that's why it collapsed, because of tremendous poverty. Guys, you cannot imagine that. Like, you have to ask your great grandparents to imagine what my early childhood was. So actually, this can work out in an unpredictable way. So by, I don't know, not literally helping Ukraine, but making this oil so cheap, Trump can actually help Ukraine defeat Russia. Sometimes life is really unpredictable, you know. I have reminded you that President Zelensky won the elections because he promised, and the majority of Ukrainians believe, that he can end this war with just a conversation. And look at him, now he's the main military leader in the world. So you never know, people change after they see real conditions and real evil that Putin is. Because it's not about just money, it's not about just territories. In case with Ukraine, Georgia, Moldova, he wants to destroy any freedom, any danger to his regime. And that is why I think that supporting Ukraine is actually supporting a very strong and a very determined ally here, like me, your friend. People of Ukraine are definitely your friends, and I'm sure if you had to choose where to stay, with whom to work, whom to trust, I hope you would choose Ukraine, not Russia. And in the 90s, after the collapse of the Soviet Union, global leaders decided to choose Russia. So I think it's time to do your work on mistakes. That's what we do at schools here, and choose Ukraine as a guarantor of peace and security. We are already very well trained. We know the modern warfare in the age of drones. We know Russia. We know types of dangers that come from it. We are actually very advanced in counter-fighting it, hybrid war, and we can be a great guard for you against all of this evil, and you need one, honestly, because Russia is trying to cause chaos everywhere. If they had an option, they would cause chaos on the moon or on the Mars, believe me. So our task is to remain united, to be creative in the solution of our problems, like drones and oil refineries. Who could have come up with this idea? We. So maybe more good ideas are coming. And of course, Russian war against Ukraine cannot be solved just politically. Because at this stage of war, with so many innocent victims on the Ukrainian side, with so many war crimes committed by Putin and millions who support him, military defeat should go first. And let me know in the comments below, do you believe that President Trump can make oil prices drop? It's not a provocative question. Indeed, I'm interested in just one aspect. Let me know in the comments below. Join me on Instagram, X, Threads, and Discord, and please share the videos on your social media platforms. This helps to remind people about Ukraine and keep us united, which is vital for the survival of the old good democratic world. Trust me, I'm Ukrainian. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel. Do check our merch shop for lots of good items that work well as reminders and conversation starters about Ukraine. And all the links that you need are in the description of this video. But most importantly, thank you for being friends of mine and Ukraine. Slava Ukraini!